Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer again, coming to you live with Conversations in Conscious Change. We are going to be having a conversation today about how training and development and design actually needs to change. Is it ready to change? Does it ever change? Or are we trying to do the same thing and expect a different result? Now, most of my guests that I've had coming onto the show have actually told me and informed me that this has to change. So today I'm going to be inviting an amazing gentleman who I've gotten to know with the dealings of his boss and other colleagues. And I've been watching him very silently in the background, seeing what he's up to. And then I told him that I think it's about time that you came to the fore and actually share with us what on earth is going on with training and development. So welcome to the call, Mohamed Azeem Saheer. Okay. Mohamed is a very, very experienced gentleman within the training industry. He has actually worked for 15 years in different countries and has brought training and development to the fore. And we're going to be talking about what all he's actually done. But before that, let me just welcome you. How are you doing, Mohamed? Azeem, I beg your pardon.
Yes. Yeah. So Mohamed is, this part of the continent, it's very frequent, right? Especially in Sri Lanka, everybody will have Mohamed. So just when I was in the Middle East, everybody used to call Mohammed, and a couple of people turns around say, who's calling? Who's calling?
Because there are quite a few Mohammeds here. That's right.
So I always say, call me Azeem, so it's more easy for people to recognize.
Okay, cool.
So thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor and pleasure to have in your show as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Now, I was really interested in having this conversation with you because I personally am of the opinion that the same way of operating within organizations, forcing people to do training, people not interested in training, people thinking that it has to be one of those tick marks that you mark off as, okay, we've done training, people not being engaged in training, people just not really interested in it. And I see that organizations have spent millions and millions of dollars trying to get their people to get more proactive in the training. And they think that, the training is going to provide that and the people are going to get sorted out. So I know that you are an MBA from the UK, a City and Guild training assessment leader, certified NLP coach, design thinking, emotional intelligence, Lego serious play, and many, many more. My God. So my question to you, Azeem, is what on earth got you started off? I mean, why all these trainings? What were you trying to look for as an individual? I want to know what you were looking for as an individual.
All right. So the question is, why on earth I had to go through all those particular elements is the element of curiosity, which
I love it.
triggered within myself.
Okay.
Right. I used to use this word of curiosity because I think that's one of the important element. I think any HR person who's running L&D need to really have it. How can I increase the curiosity of another person to really learn, get the skills? So
excuse me for interrupting over here, but I want to know, Azeem, what actually got you so curious to actually do this for yourself? Because I truly believe that unless we are not doing something for ourselves, we can't actually see what's going on the outside world. So what got you into it on a personal level, on a professional level? What did you feel was lacking in your own personal development? What did you see there?
So that's what I'm saying. The curiosity for me, to explore what is design thinking, what is design thinking is about, what is NLP is about. Because when I see the flyers, when I see couple of people, especially on LinkedIn, they share their own thing. I've completed this. I have connection. So it creates me like, okay, what is this about? What is design thinking about? Where it ends? Can it add value for me in my area of expertise? Can NLP can be a part and parcel of my whole portfolio to add value to me, at the same time add value so that curiosity, Jennifer, led me to really complete the last 3 years. I do have targets every once a year. I keep 2 checkbox, for example, to complete, to upgrade myself.
Okay.
Because I need to be updated. I can't get outdated.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. So in short, it was more about you wanting to keep on enhancing yourself to become a valuable commodity that would impact the training industry, so to speak, to be able to move forward and to present different ways of enhancing engagement and training within the corporate world. My next question to you is, what do you see happening right now in the training industry, and how important is it for organizations to truly consider training? And having said that, what is it that they need to look for in their trainers?
Right. Industry as a whole, I think last 2 years has been a bit of a slow pace, because we were never exposed to the virtual arena. I think now people are got to know what is virtual training is about, and people more prefer. There are a lot of connections around the world. They prefer now to in-person training, and like no other, most of the organizations are investing money on people. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
Crises will come, turbulence will come, economy might crash, but then again, that so-called human capital is the only thing that an organization can be really taken out of the crisis. So people really understood, because if you see in the past, in the history, every crisis when comes, there is opportunity gets opened up. People have failed to grab the opportunity, but now in this era that people really understood, we need to up the game. To up the game, people need to really develop, need to be upskilled. Even the World Economic Forum came up like 50% of the employees need to be upskilled. So when you, in that context, there is a big demand of training need to be done in organization. But the question mark is whether the organization, the leaders, are they doing the right mechanism, right methodology, right training or learning? Are they picking the right participant for the right training? Right?
Now that there's a major question mark, right?
Absolutely, because TNA, training need analysis, happen once a year. That's where the annual review happens, right? Okay, Jennifer, what is the training you require? Okay, I need leadership, blah 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 blah. They just write it off and they send to HR do it. But then again, is it the real requirement for Jennifer to have the leadership or communication? Is a question mark. So that system still exists. Now this is where another flex happens. The return on investment of the training, it should be really viable, but when you send wrong people for wrong trainings, that's the question mark. That's where many people don't have the trust on training and development. Because why we say training and development, it's about developing people so people can really enhance their performance. End of the day, the bottom line of the organization get
So what I'm getting is that we have two aspects of this going on. The one side is, do organizations truly know their people, as in what the training is required? And number two, are they choosing the proper training partners to be able to facilitate, to draw out from their people? So there's almost like a parallel thing of inconsistency that I see. I'm quite sure that you might be experiencing it. So what would you suggest that organizations should do, because at the end of the day, I truly believe that if an organization is run by people, the question mark is, are your people performing? And if not, why not? Which is where I think your training need analysis actually kicks in. And Anton does a great job, and so does Vidusha, and Luminary Learning, to be able to pinpoint that and to help organizations do that. But the question over here is, so we have the organizations on one side, we have them, and what is it that their people are looking for? Finding the right training partners. But then there's a third aspect to it. Are the people ready for the training? What has your experience been with people's readiness, irrespective of the organization, the training need analysis? What is it about the individual and how they actually, are they wanting to actually get into the training? Are they wanting to learn something, or are they just fussy and just, just there?
So let me start with the last one, what you asked, right? Whether people like to go to the training, or are the people voluntarily joining to the training, is a question mark.
Yes.
Because whenever we go for a intervention, we always see, can I drop a mail and come? Or the laptop might be on the table. They said HR sent me. That's the conversation comes. We never hear, very, very rarely hear that a person voluntarily come and really keen to enjoy and start grabbing things. So why is that? Because just for the sake of sticking the budgets or the man hours, HR would have just screened the TNA, which is done by the line manager, which you would have done quickly as possible without having a right conversation on the performance review, misunderstood the whole personality type. So the whole process get tangled.
Exactly. That's why I keep seeing that there's almost like a struggle and a battle. And these are all very, very under the belt. It's not on the floor. It is very, very below the radar, so to speak. Okay. So you have one side people, the other side organization, and then you have the training and companies that are having this, this silent stuff that is going on, and no one is actually wanting to talk about it. And thus everyone is in a big question mark as to what should be done and how should it be done. Now, I love the fact that you have actually done design thinking and emotional intelligence. And one thing that I love that you have done is the Lego serious play. So my question to you now, being as a professional trainer, is this: how necessary is it for fun to be part of training?
If you ask me 1 to 10, I would say rank 10.
Okay. So 10 being really important, or 1 being really important?
10 being the most
vital, right? Okay, so
vital.
So tell me, in the old way of thinking within organizations, Azeem, what have you seen? The old school of thought is it has to be serious, and it has to be, structured, and it has to be this way, and it has to be that way. But the question is, I think one thing that is actually missing is to actually connect with the individual. Don't you see that a lot? Okay.
Absolutely.
And may I ask you a question as to your Lego serious play? Does that help in connecting to an individual's capacity to engage and actually have fun? Would you please share that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you could tell me more about that, I'd love to hear. And quite honestly, anyone who's listening out there, I think it's important for them to hear too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the element of fun is something I really encourage when I go to the training. So I have a separate slide. I give every instruction what we're going to do today. And the last part, I say 2 things. 1, when you go out of the room, you don't need to take everything what I say. Just you believe something just important for you, just take it and go. right? Number two, have fun, enjoy, laugh, clap, shout, because that's what people missing, especially the adults. That's what we are missing. Now, if you really compare our childhood, we never bothered about raining, we never bothered about sunshine, you know, we play, we take the risk, right? We never even know about so much of height we have climbed, because that curiosity, that fun, enjoyment has pushed us to the limit. But when we grow up, Jennifer, I think we are losing all those things.
Exactly.
Right.
I truly believe that one has not to be childish.
Yeah.
One has got to be childlike. And I think it's our preconceived notions as to become an adult has to become serious. We have to be sedate. We have to be monotonous. We don't have to have elements of fun. I mean, we can have fun outside, but we can't have fun at work. It's absolutely ridiculous. So thank you for sharing that. But please go on. I'd really like to hear more.
So when I take these stuffs, right, these stuffs to workshop, when we build intervention, when I place them on before the participant comes, I go and place it. The time they enter the room, they never sit down. They quickly go near the Lego bricks. I have a big set of people, so they just go and look around, just touch and see.
Inquisitive curiosity, right?
Absolutely there. So if I can build that, I think that's the first breakthrough I'm going to do on the workshop. That's the first connection I want to make with the participant.
Okay, cool.
And from there, I bring that particular element. Just enjoy, because this automatically transform them, transform whatever the message I want to give, whatever the tools I want to give. It's really connect them, because it's a metaphor. They always remember metaphors. So that's why Lego serious play is so powerful, because we say thinking from hands. When you say Lego serious play, right? Thinking from hands. By the way, we have senses on our fingertips, and our cortex is 90% connected with our hands. For example, Jennifer, let's say nowadays we used to write exams, but when we have a difficult question to answer, what do you do? Like bite your nails, or you scratch your head, or you tap the pen. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to access our subconscious mind from our fingers, try to find the answer. So the same thing happens. There might be people who are so powerful within them, but they cannot put it out.
Express themselves. Yeah.
They have fantastic idea over here, but they cannot put it out. This tool brings those ideas out.
Okay, wonderful.
So that sort of powerful methodology is Lego serious play, and a tool, fantastic tool. And more than that, they go back to their childhood, and they start exploring that creativity part, which organization is asking. Right? Doesn't the organization come with creative solutions, creative problem-solving skills? Isn't that what they want? Right?
But there's another question over here. Thank you for sharing that. It's very, very impactful what you just said. The question over here is that I've actually I used to be in recruitment before, Azeem, and many people have come to me saying that, you know what, I gave this idea and they asked me for ideas and I gave the ideas and then no one took them. So the question over here is, we are generating creativity within organizations, but how many organizations are willing to actually pursue that creativity that an individual has to offer? Because those are hard conversations to have, and they are almost always pushed under the carpet. And I've seen this, and I've been on the other side of the fence where people have come saying in total frustration as to, I can't take it anymore because this is what is going on and I've tried so hard. So the question over here is, if people are given the opportunity for training, development, encouragement to enhance themselves, are organizations willing then to take them to the next level of appreciating what it is that they are doing and actually giving them space to create. Because quite honestly, if people are given, we have to stop ordering people around and actually ask for their help. Because my question has always been this, that if you are appointing people to actually work within your organization, do you want them to keep running to you, or do you want to empower them so that they can actually help you? You know, now when they're coming up with brilliant ideas after the amazing training and development, and they got, oh my God, I got this idea, then what do you know of? Because I'm not sure whether you do, but I'm quite sure you do, is what do you know about organizations that will say, you know what, that's a brilliant idea. Let's actually pursue this. And I can actually vouch for the organizations as well, because they may say, all these guys are coming up with these ideas, but we don't have the budget to actually pursue these ideas. So there's this, you know, dichotomy going on over there. And there's so much of confusion as to, because people are going to take it personally. So what in emotional intelligence can you bring to the fore when you're having people that are trying to compare one another to compete, as opposed to bring people out and raise them up into their own core competencies that are going to be able to facilitate them becoming greater at what they do. So what is it about the emotional intelligence that you talk about that helps people to identify their own brilliance that truly makes the difference?
So, Geneva, one of the things is really people need to understand, especially the leaders of the organization need to understand, is they are still working with human beings, right? Human beings, right? Not human robots.
Exactly.
Right. So they do have feelings and emotions. And the creativity part comes when they are in a very good mood, very good feeling, very good understanding, very enjoyment, fun. So when organization can create such an environment, definitely they will have. But the question where you ask whether the leaders are embracing those creative ideas, the organization embracing those ideas and executing is a question mark. Right? Right? Because what we almost have seen in the whole industry is when we have a problem, then only we ask for creativity. Right?
The reaction mode.
Absolutely.
Constantly.
Reaction. So they are not proactive. Now, this is where like giants like Google, Facebook, Uber have been so successful, but they've been proactive. They never rest. When they innovate something, especially Apple, they kill their own product to come up with a new product. So when they have the bank of ideas, it's easy for them to kill the product. So they've been market leaders forever. Right now, we know the story of Nokia, we know the Kodak, everything we know the story.
Yes.
Right. So what leaders need to really understand to create that idea bank, create that creativity bank. So you store them, right? And let the people who came up with them
roll it out.
Really have exactly. So that should be part of their KPI.
Exactly.
So when we hit that part of KPI, that's the moment leader need to really analyze, okay, Jennifer is so and so to do this project. Does Jennifer have these 1, 2, 3 skills? So that means if Jennifer don't have 1, 2, 3 skills, I have to send her for project management. I have to send for Scrum Master, whatever it is. So that's the where you really map the TNA, right? TNA.
Okay.
So then they hire the right person to do that development part. So absolutely, you're spot on. We are not sure because of budgets. We talk about whether to embrace it or not, or just passing clouds for sake of asking, come up with creative ideas. Then they come, all right, okay, this one just put under the table, just lock it around. Then the other element of people's emotion. I gave this idea, nobody's respecting me, nobody's. Think leaders need to have that empathy coming in, embrace the person's typically the social awareness. Need to have that understanding, able to recognize another person's emotion and feeling, When we come up with that creative idea, where this person is, can we really push him more up so he will be more into that particular element? It's something people, leaders need to do. Now, this is where emotional intelligence comes into picture.
Okay.
Right? Leaders need to have, it's a must-have skill. Right now, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'm putting out my podcast episode with Dr. Richard Boyatzis, who initially came up with the research for motion intelligence, where Dr. Daniel came on. He also brings out the similar aspect of helping people to change and grow through emotional intelligence, because he says every leaders need to be a coach. Every leader need to be equipped with emotional intelligence, because we are still working with human beings, not robots. Right? When you talk about, we are with feelings. So imagine a person coming to work with a not correct mindset, not feeling good, right? And the leader asks, "Good morning, how are you?" You say, "I'm okay." But the leader need to be able to recognize from his tonality, the facial expression, whether this person is responding correctly or no. Right? If it's not, you need to take him aside, have this casual conversation, try to understand what this person goes through, because that person's emotions, feeling is directly impacted the productivity and the performance.
Yeah, I think it's about time that people understood that it's not like it's rocket science. If you can actually sense whether a person is not quite with it, and instead of reprimanding them or threatening them, you could find out what exactly is going on within them, and how it is that we can actually facilitate whatever it is and to overcome it, so they can be more attentive at what it is they're supposed to be doing in the first place. So now the third aspect of my question: how many people in your personal experience of being a trainer have actually, on an individual level, who might be working, okay, who've got jobs, that really consider themselves as being open to learning and to be coached?
Okay.
Do people within organizations actually consider themselves reaching a plateau? They do not know where to go. And what happens in this particular case is they decide that they have to leave an organization because they are not getting what it is that they want, but they do not know what they want either.
Yeah.
Now, do you have this kind of people?
Yeah. So with my experience, working around this, yes, there have been very handful of people who have been struggling, especially those people who came with like not knowing what is the training. Right? Then they start WhatsApp, they send messages, they send emails asking how to pursue this career, for example, how to become a coach, how do you get into this particular line of people development. They feel that taste. The problem is they are very clueless. They don't know what to do, how to do that. That's one of the biggest questions. They always come, and we as facilitators and trainers, we always give up, contact our LinkedIn profile, get in touch with us. If you have any questions, please feel to ask. Because the reason being, that opportunity should be given, and that should be part and parcel of our profession. Because we are so-called trainers or facilitators, whoever, coaches, whatever it is, we are here to help people. Help people to find their potential, inspire them to go to that ultimate objective. The problem is when the leaders don't do the same thing, that's where it happens. When the leaders don't do coach or mentor them, they're clueless. When leaders don't understand their potential to unleash their potential, help them to unleash their potential, that's the problem. So when they come to interventions, they're clueless. They're clueless. What to do? What is this about? How do I get into it? Jennifer, most of the session I always touch on the passion and the purpose. When I ask, do you have a passion? Do you have a purpose? They look around. What is this? So that's a symbol that people are so clueless. They don't know what to do in their life.
So my question to you then, thank you for that. My question to you then is, from let's give it from 1 to 10, okay? 1 being the least, 10 being the most. How many people do you think out there in the whole world would actually consider enhancing themselves without the leader or without the family or without anything? How many people do you think, from percentage wise, worldwide? How many? What percentage do you think people
you're talking about globally.
Yeah.
Right. So I would rather about 45%.
Okay. Okay.
45%.
And so then the rest of them are waiting for them to be saved by the leaders. Is it?
Absolutely.
Or their families, or someone in the family, or a rich uncle or rich aunt to bail them out from the BS. I'm sorry. Seriously.
Yeah. So that curiosity within them is missing, Jennifer.
Yeah. But the thing is this, I've also seen extremely curious people out there. I mean, I get to meet a whole lot of people who are extremely curious, but they have got all kinds of agendas that stop them from actually stepping into taking their curiosity to the next level of really getting to unleash the potential that lies within them. Okay. And that's my area of work. I help individuals unleash their amazing potential within them so that they can impact the rest of the world. And I'm glad that you said that's only 45%. So I've got a whole lot of people to actually work with. How cool is that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Right.
But the thing is this, I love this about what you're doing, and what again, to be able to enhance oneself, and what all you have done is truly remarkable.
Thank you.
And one of the areas that I only think, the area that has been predominantly your motivating factor has been your level of curiosity and being inquisitive, okay? Being childlike. And before I go into the next question, I also want to tell the audience that you take the help of people from your home to actually help you to settle your class and for your next day of class. So can you share with them?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to know the ages of your assistants.
Absolutely. So my first assistant is 8-year-old, and my second one is 3-year-old. So this is my son, daughter, and son, daughter is eldest. So after the Lego workshop, I always go back and make sure that it is put it separate, make sure that's, So my assistant is the one who does that work. They are so passionate about these plastic toys, and they're so here to write, Dada, can I help you? Can I put that here? Should it go there? And they know exactly which way to where to go. So I don't go and interrupt them. So I just want to observe, because that's also part and parcel of a learning process.
Exactly. So right. I wanted you to bring that up because I think it's so cool to have two assistants at home who are helping dad to get ready for the class, and after that comes back from the class.
So they wait for me. They wait for me. At the end of the day, when they come, and they always say, "Did you bring the box?" Second one said, "Did you bring the Lego box? Right? Did you bring the?" Because sometimes when if I'm tired, I take the next day morning from the car. But no, did you bring the box? So he's curious. No, he wanted to put this thing. So he has his own set. Daughter has his own set, but they still look for my set. How
because it's probably smaller pieces, and they're interested to know. And this is what I think is absolutely amazing about all of this. Now, when you are facilitating stuff for organizations, Azeem, what's the kind of information that you get to ask or discover about participants prior to you starting off your Lego Serious Play or your emotional intelligence or your design thinking? What do you think is absolutely imperative for you to use as your arsenal to be able to extrapolate and to connect with people? As a professional trainer, would you like to share some of those with us, please?
Yeah. So first one would be what is the pain point? Why they want to have this intervention, right? You can ask Anton. I always trouble him when you get a mail, and then I want to know why they want this, why they want to have this particular intervention. because we have experienced that, HR person comes and say, this is the challenge that they have. And we have the stakeholders, say another one. So we are confused. And at the end of the day, if they are not satisfied, we have not met the expectation. That's the biggest bad remark we will have, right? We hired you, we paid you, nothing happened. So you didn't tell what exactly you wanted. So that's the first thing I do, especially with the Lego series play. The reason being, the challenge, how it works, it's about challenging. So what I do, I take the actual challenge, it's happening in the flow, I bring back to the classroom with a fun element without them knowing. I put into their mind and take a solution out from there. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is so interesting. I asked the ages. I know we should not ask from the female factor, the ages, but I asked.
But that's not rubbish. I think we should give up all this rubbish now, male and female. For God's sake, get on with it. We want to know your age, and now probably you can tell us as to why you need to have all this information and how does it impact the training, please. Yeah, carry on. And you have the age factor you mentioned.
The age.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
So age is one of the important elements, because we want to know what sort of age caliber, because there might be people who are in the in their late 40s, early 50s, 30s, 20s. It's really important that I build that connection with them.
Yeah. And how do you actually build that connection?
Right.
You were trying to tell me.
Yeah, this is one of my secret ingredient. I do have my own playlist based on the generation, based on the age, based on the language. Okay, when I have some Hindi songs, I have Tamil songs, Sinhala, English. So that's why I take this, because music is one of the important elements we can really connect with human beings. Okay. If I play a favorite song of them, especially these days, I collect cover songs that has a different creative tune and mentality, and I do play on the workshop when they are running that activity, any activity. I play in this slowly on the background, just make sure that they have that momentum, a little bit of a jazz coming in, so that creativity comes, because that influence creativity. For me also, if I want to start doing content and doing the whole deck, I plug here and listen to music, because that's my creativity part comes in. So that's one of the important elements I ask them. Okay. So those are the things because that's where I connect with people. Okay. That's where I really bring them to. Other than that, I ask them. I give giveaways, right? So there are some things I've printed to make people engage with me. So when they, for example, I give $100, just a print bill, right? Okay, Jennifer, you ask, I'm giving $100 bill. So next time this person I have told them, end of the day, who has most number of dollars or the bills will get a giveaway from me. So I take a small chocolate packet with me. Let's just go. End of the day, who collects more? So they fight for it, right? And they quickly put their hands up, they answer. So those are something I really build up. And I always tell them time is more important. When you're in a break, make sure that you come on time. If not come on time, you have to perform. And I make them dance also.
Good.
And people
I think
enjoy.
It's so important to break that ice, of, I'm training and I have to be serious.
Yeah. So those are the connectivity. And when they enjoy those moments, and the learning, Jennifer, automatically get inherited within them.
Yes.
They'll be focused. I don't need to put a lot of effort for them to really teach or facilitate them. They will quickly grab, because their left brain and right brain both are start working. So it's easy for them to really, so these are the little things I really get them engaged. And this is the right way of facilitating or learning approach I think we all should do, because we are getting a large amount of younger generation people who are more into computer or tech industry majority, like they're
gamifying stuff,
gamified learning, etc. So we need to really understand those pattern also, and really need to bridge that gap in terms of people development.
The next thing I'd like to ask you is about how do you eliminate, how do you first create an individual's capacity to out-create himself or herself? And second, how would you advise people not to compete within an organization? Because I see a lot of that going on, and half of the problems within the company is because of first people not really choosing to develop themselves and waiting for organizations to spoon feed them because they think it's their right. And then they think that, oh, I'm working here, they should give me the training, but no one is actually going and saying, I really need to get trained and I'm actually going to do it. So people put themselves on the shelf. Okay, that's one area. Then if and I've always asked this question of myself and other colleagues as well. So if people were actually interested in developing themselves, i.e. even personal development, then would there be a possibility of eradicating competition within an organization?
All right. So now people might argue, sometimes people might think that I may be wrong. This is my personal view and my perspective. People need to really understand. I like the word 2 C's you told me. One is capacity, one is the competition.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So capacity is once your skill will come in, your understanding to learning certain things, because like our 5 fingers, every human being's capacity is different. The amount of effort someone need to really put into really grab certain things is something different than another person.
Absolutely.
Person A can grab like this. Person B need to go through 3 times he to read to understand. Right. So imagine when we create a competition with A and B, is it the right thing to do? Is a question mark. But again, organizers need to perform.
Exactly.
But
no, let me stop you there. So this is where the recruitment has to actually change. Okay. Because you cannot expect someone, it's not that they're not skilled. Okay. That's another thing that I get a lot. Is they're not necessarily not skilled, but they're not skilled in what it is that the management is asking them to do. So my question is, why is it that they were recruited in the first place and then blame them and then fire them or try and train them into an area that they're not passionate about? It's ridiculous. Okay. So actually finding these things out is a prerequisite instead of dragging an individual through the organization, making him or her feel that she's totally incompetent and useless, and then firing them. You know what I'm saying? Or forcing them to do a training that they're really not interested in, to try and fix them. You see, this is where the problem is. So my question again was, do people inherently want to find out what their amazing capacities, abilities, and skills are individually by themselves? Because if we actually got into doing that, then the area of competition would be totally eradicated. Because then, this has been my personal opinion, and I have seen this happening with me, and now I help organizations to get out of their own way to create this. So if an individual is actually seen as a person who is really good at X, Y, and Z, and the other one within the organization is good with A, B, and C, if you were to put A, B, C, and X, Y, Z together, would they create something greater without the element of competition coming in? Many people tell me, but Jenny, this does not happen in the real world. And I'm saying it's about time we change that. So being the change makers, what is your view on that? Really
so this is why I want to bring another scene to your conversation, which is collaboration.
Exactly. Right. But we can't collaborate, Azeem, if we do not actually know our own capacities and abilities. Then to be able to eradicate competition, And that competition is totally replaced by collaboration. And people have to get that because people are not getting it. Okay. And that's what we've got to actually look at. What exactly is your unique selling strategy, your unique strategy that you can actually bring to the fore? I mean, you've done it, then you became a trainer. Okay.
Absolutely, right. So again, it's a very unique thing, right? If you ask me, my brothers would have not thought about like getting these all things into it, because their capacity and the element is different than me, right? At the same thing, everybody cannot do this alone, Jennifer. Everybody cannot really understand what is my capacity. We need another person. That's where the coaching part comes very much important.
Yeah,
right.
But the thing is this, Azeem,
to help me to understand what is my potential.
But is coaching the only thing? Is coaching the only thing, or is it actually the burning desire within an individual that actually transpires them to take action? As a trainer, as a coach.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
I'll give you an example, Jennifer, right? I just got, yeah. Let me give an example. I had a discussion, a conversation with a 20-year-old guy, a young gentleman, right? Who's one of my good friend's brother, younger brother. The problem is he don't know what to do in his career, right? He had gone to
speak to me.
Right. Now imagine if the people are there, like they don't know where to go, what is the path to choose, then they will not know how to pursue their career. But there might be people who are really ambitious, really know what to do, where to go. In 25 years, I want to this, 30 years, I want to this. Then they will have the ladder coming in.
And then you have a third situation. Azeem, you have then the third situation. You could plan all you want for the next 25 years, and then Corona comes in. Okay, and slams everything. The question over here, seriously, no amount of planning your career is actually going to help you to get there. First and essentially, it is about getting to know who you are and why you're here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so that is the problem.
No one can tell you what to do. It is for you to awaken to your own brilliance. And that is the capacity that it's every Tom, Dick, and Harry, excuse my being so, abrupt with this.
Straightforward.
Yeah, that's me, because I don't know how to mince words, okay? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry thinks that they can become a coach. Now, I find that totally, excuse my French, bloody ridiculous. Because if you haven't experienced stuff, who the hell told you that you could become a coach? Seriously?
Agreed.
Because everyone is wanting to make a quick buck. Hello? It doesn't really work. So people have to really go through experience, because experience is the coach. Okay? You ain't no coach, Cookie, unless you've experienced life. And I think Vidusha and myself share the same thought process, and so does Anton. But the question over here is, again, why are we selling things to people, forcing them to do a thing to make a quick buck? You see, we're selling people courses. You can become a coach in 6 months. Hello? I mean, what is that? It's ridiculous. So people have to actually become consciously aware. And trainers like you and me and Anton, Vidusha, and Nigel, and all those amazing people that we know, I think it's time that we actually stood up and made the people listen to what we say. And to that effect, I'm creating something, and we're going to be having an open forum where we're having, real discussions, not pussyfooting around and escaping and not and trying to be socially okay. Sorry, that doesn't work for me. I've had it up to here. So I think it is more about allowing ourselves to really call a spade a spade. Okay. Now,
Absolutely.
having said that, Azeem, what do you believe should be? I want you to give me 5 things that an organization, or let me say 3 things. Okay, I'm not going to put you in the spot.
Yeah, 5 is 5 is. I was thinking you'll get 5.
No,
Jennifer
only
asked for
5.
5 from me.
5 points. Yes, 5 tips. Okay, 3 tips. Sorry. So I'm going to put you in the spot by saying I would like you to give me 3 tips that you would like to share with organizations. 3 tips that you would like to share with people working within organizations. Okay. And 3 tips for training companies who think they're training companies and how it is that they can better themselves. Go for it. You got a speed dial. I got a speed dial.
Yeah. So for organizations, one of the important thing is have frequent conversation with the people, right? That's one of the important things. Don't wait until the end of the year. Don't wait at the mid of the year. Just have that offline. Just go grab a coffee and have that conversation. Then you'll know who the person you're talking to. Number 2, let people apply for the desired trainings. Don't just recommend them and send them. Ask them whether they want to go, what they're going to do. After coming back from the training, what are going to do with that training, right? Are they going to share the skills and the knowledge that they have gained, or just put on the cupboard and just close it and keep it very safe?
Okay, good.
Right?
Yeah.
The last one is, I think this is one of the important elements, right? Are you reviewing these people who have come from training? Have they practiced what they have really gained from the training?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the return on investment they can look in for, right? Otherwise, just have some fun, come back, just a relaxation, that's it. Right? So for the training companies, yeah, so don't look for quick bucks, right? That's the most important thing. There are big platforms all over the world.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Don't look for big bucks. Okay, I'm writing this down.
You are very experienced. You know the journey you have come across, right? I know the journey I have come across. So that's why I really respect, Vidush and Anton for that particular benchmark we keep in the country in terms of as a training unit. Right? It's people need to value the amount of effort we as trainers we put into the market. Right? So trainers should not bluff around. Right? It's not about go to the Google and get another content and put in your slide and go and deliver. It will be very authentic and addressing the issue. That's one of the important things. Number 2, let people have fun. Let relax a bit. Let them really relax. That's the whole science around it. Number 3, please try to understand the people in your classroom or the participant. And even after the session, have this conversation, open them to have this conversation, send them a text, give the guidance to them. I think that's the real facilitator, trainer, coach you're going to, because I always believe, Jennifer, what goes around always comes around. Right? So when you give for people, and I have experience in my life, right? When you give for people, and automatically someday you will get it back, because you're helping people to change, helping people to grow. And you never know, he might be the next referral he's going to make for you for your next business.
Okay.
Yeah, my 3s are done, Jennifer.
Okay. No, what are the 3 individual? Personally.
Personally, right. Curiosity. Curiosity is a must. Right? Tomorrow, what you're going to do? Day after, what you're going to do? What I'm going to do differently? At least read a new page of the book you're reading. Right? That's most important. And number 2, have a purpose in your life. If you don't have a purpose, it can be a long-term or short-term. You have a purpose, because purpose is the compass. It's a navigator which gets you to your career, right? And you might be up and down. You might be I want to go into sales, and you might fail, because you have to do that. You need to have the purpose around. Number three, the last one is keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. Learning is something I always believe until you go to the 6 feet, the whole yard down, the life is a learning process. You have to learn, and that's what we call as experience, isn't it? So learning is something always need to continue. Even I say my friends also, don't stop here, start reading a book. At least that's a knowledge gaining, that's a skill. You will have tools and techniques in the books, right? So learning is something important for you to run for your purpose. To run for your purpose, have curiosity. How can I do differently? Go to that purpose.
And the last question I have, what do you do for fun?
Fun, right? Now, if you ask my wife, she will say he don't have fun, right?
I thought so. Because you're always training. What do you do? Seriously, being a trainer, being a coach, being everything, one also has to replenish oneself.
Yeah.
So what do you do to replenish yourself, essentially?
So one of the thing is, listen to music is something I do, right? Because that really connect. I listen to all type of music.
Rejuvenate.
Absolutely. So it creates a lot of hype, that high beat, low beat, slow, everything brings that's. And number two, Lego is the next fun I always have, just sitting around, just middling it around, I get the ideas from the back end. I should try this, I should try that. So that's the whole, and my kids love it also. I just play with them also. So those are the couple of things I really do. And of course, nature, walking, enjoying the nature.
And being in the country that you are, oh my God, you are surrounded by beautiful nature. You guys are blessed. Cool.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else that you would like to add, Azeem, before we
something I really want to keep you on the record.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been the other side of the seat on a podcast or a video. Right. Now, I always ask this question from my guests. What are the 3 tips you can give away? What are 3 tips? Now I see, okay, these guys go through so much of tough time to really get that back. So it was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. So even the podcast, it's something really curiosity made. I have made plenty of connection. Almost like 40-50 countries people are listening in. That's also I wanted to really create people to learn free of charge. Right? I always want to give back to the community, to country, the world, that people, the guest who comes from a podcast, they charge dollars, $500,000-$600,000 for an hour or half an hour, but they just spend the time for my purpose of spreading the message of keep learning and just listening to it. So I thoroughly enjoy running that podcast also, because I am upskilling myself as I'm helping other people. Because I'm a person who like to help people a lot. So I always embrace my arm. Wonderful. If you have any question, please reach me out.
Right. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to Azeem Saheer, who is a professional podcaster too. Very, very good with information technology. He's very creative with doing stuff. A thinker outside the box, a facilitator of all kinds of new techniques. And above all of that, I think he is the kindest and most generous person with his time. And maybe he should think about spending a little more time with the family.
Absolutely.
So having said that, thank you very much, Azeem, for taking the time.
Thank
and
you.
Please do hug the 2 amazing assistants that you have from my side. And it's been fun having this conversation. And I hope it's going to be fun for people who are going to be listening to it.
Absolutely. So thank Once you again, thank you very much for having me on the show. I hope I would have inspired at least 1 or 2 people from the message. And
I'm going to. The amazing part is this: that same way that you do the podcast, I do it too. It's about getting perspective on how things can actually change, um, and how people are changing it, and you happen to be one of the change agents around, and doing a damn good job, if I may add.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.